think we're live. All right. Welcome back to the Hoodneys Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Keem. This is episode 4. I have with me MFB
Yes, sir.
and BBTV.
aka Bench 550, aka your fantasy winner, my fantasy winner. We here, baby. Come on.
All right, bro. For sure. This is episode 4 where we go over NFC North. The next few episodes are basically going to be going over each division and trying to cover all the changes in the offseason. I'm going to go ahead and get us started off with the Chicago Bears. Let's see. So, obviously, they drafted Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. I don't know if that's how you say his name. They also brought in Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift in the backfield. They did also sign Gerald Everett. They got rid of Darnell Mooney. No more Donta Foreman. The new offensive coordinator is Shane Waldron, who came in from Seattle, where they had kind of that same situation with the wide receivers. Let's go ahead and start off with the draft picks. Caleb Williams, what do you guys think? Is he going to be good? Is he going to be a bust? Is he going to be just like Justin Fields? What do you guys think?
He's gonna be phenomenal. He's gonna be top tier. He's going
Phenomenal.
low. Listen. He's going low in the draft. I think he's going around 8-ish, 7, 8 in a 12-man half PPR league.
Yeah.
I think that's a great value. He has all the weapons that he has, and he's gonna be solid.
Okay. MFV, what do you think?
I think phenomenal is a strong word. I think he has the hype. He was really good in college.
Mm-hmm.
He has the cast, like the team around him, to succeed. Right.
Right.
They literally built a sick team this year for sure.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know if are we saying finish top 8, top 6?
Where do you think? Where do you think he finishes the season?
I wouldn't be shocked if he finishes top 10.
Okay.
If he finishes top 5, I'll be shocked.
BBTV, you're in the same boat?
No, I mean, I don't know if he finishes top 5. You have stud quarterbacks.
That's what he said. He said he'd be shocked.
Yeah, top 10
So-
seems very reasonable for him. But I feel like he's just going to play just lights out with the weapons he got.
I mean, you have to think of top 10 quarterbacks. You get Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. You have, even Jordan Love, Stroud. You have Lamar Jackson. There's a lot of Tua. Even you think he's gonna be better than Tua?
Yeah, easily. I think.
I think as a
Anthony Richardson, barring any injuries.
Look, player wise, yes. Fantasy wise, I don't think so. Cause not on Anthony Richardson.
That's
Tua.
yeah for Tua.
Because of the weapons he's got. He's got the number one player.
I do agree with you guys in that, or I guess Sammy B brought it up that he's kind of got the best sort of situation. Like they brought in Keenan Allen, and they have they brought in Rome Odunze, the rookie. They have what's his name? DJ Moore, yeah. And so they have Cole Kmet, the tight end, who's also a threat, in the red zone, especially in the end zone. So he has all the weapons to succeed. It's just kind of up to him if he can do it himself. You know what I mean? So yeah, I kind of like his situation. I think his value in the draft is great for where he's going. What do you guys think of the rookie wide receiver, Rome Odunze? Thoughts? Is he going to succeed? Is he going to kind of get shadowed by Keenan Allen and DJ Moore?
I think he's going to play like the Jackson Smith and Jigba kind of role of the Seattle Seahawks last year.
Yeah.
Smith and Jigba had a lot of hype coming in,
Right.
but he kind of was shadowed with DK and Lockett. So I feel like he's going to play that kind of role, and then towards the end of the season, he'll probably pick it up for sure.
And I mentioned that earlier when I mentioned that they signed the offensive coordinator from Seattle, where they kind of had that same situation in Seattle, where they had kind of like that dominant. They have DK, they have Lockett, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba, the rookie, came in and had some flashes here and there, but he's playing kind of behind two more experienced receivers. So, MFB, any thoughts?
I think my spreadsheets are telling me
Hmm.
specifically with the receivers.
Yeah.
Under Shane Waldron, right? The pass rate this year will increase by like 7% more
Okay.
than last year with Chicago specifically, right?
Right.
And when you mix in these three receivers, um, pretty much they will eat. It's just a matter of which week, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's going to be like a rotating roulette. Like you don't know who's going to eat what week,
Right.
but each of them will have like an amazing week.
Yeah. Yeah. Each of them will kind of have their week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. Obviously, I talked about Keenan Allen and his effect in the offense. I mean, where do you guys place him in terms of, is he being drafted too early? Is he being drafted too late? Would you draft him earlier? Would you draft him later, or where he's at?
Mm, that's a tough one. Honestly, not too sure how that works.
I mean, the safest thing to say is obviously draft him where he's at, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, to say he's being drafted too early, that's a bit of a, you're kind of
Stretching.
stretching there, saying he's being drafted too early versus, well, I mean, he very well could be, versus you saying like, oh, he's being drafted too late. Uh, then I mean it's kind of up to
I think
you.
the value of the round that you're going to get Keenan Allen is decent because he could win you
Right.
some weeks, right?
Yeah, no, definitely, we've
Like
seen what he can do.
like from my perspective, like I
Yeah.
said, it's going to be a rotating cast of
Right.
receivers per week in, week
Right.
out. So the 1 week Keenan Allen might hit 20 plus and have PPR, you
Right.
know? So it could
And
win you,
that's-
right? And he's like a later mid-round pick.
Right.
It's not bad.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just a matter of staying healthy. He's old. He does tend to get injured here and there, you know, mid-season.
Right.
But I mean, still, like one of the best pure receivers out there,
Right. Yeah.
football-wise, right?
Yeah. Agreed. No, I like where he's being drafted. I think you can reach for him a little bit if you need a wide receiver and you have one, you need a second one. In which round is he going in? 5th round or is it 4th round? I can't
I think
remember.
it's either 5th or 6th.
Either way, I'm not mad if that's your wide receiver too. I'm not mad at that. I think that's a good wide receiver too, and that he's going to win you some weeks, like you said.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift, I think he's going to be great. I mean, they brought him in to kind of to run the ball, and he did good things in Philadelphia for the Eagles. So yeah, so I think he's going to be a good running back. What are you guys' thoughts? Any thoughts on that? Or you guys agree or disagree? Or
Honestly, I 100% agree. I think that since everyone's going to eat, he's also going to eat too. He's a great passing back, and he
Right.
gets he'll get the red zone touches for sure.
yeah,
They probably want Caleb Williams to last, and it's not like Philadelphia Eagles push tush and
right,
Jalen Hurts scooping touchdowns. It's
Right.
DeAndre Swift handing the ball within 5 yards, get it in the end zone. So he's going to be solid. And I think he's getting drafted ADP of
He's-
low 70s.
He's like a
He's-
round or two after Keenan Allen.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think that's
So it is kind of low ADP, but I think what people don't realize is
it's good value.
so like I said, right, the passing rate will increase, so that means the run rate decreases
Mhm.
naturally, right?
right,
And with that being said, they still have Khalil Herbert, they still have Roshan Johnson. So like it's kind of like vague and ambiguous in a sense as
Yeah.
how will they rotate those backs, right? And then you
yeah.
have Caleb Williams who can rush
Yeah.
the ball as well.
So
But things that's the same thing that I think a lot of people said last year with Kenneth Gainwell and Rashad Penny on the Philadelphia Eagles, saying
Right.
they're going to take away touches or touchdowns and all that, and Swift significantly outshine them.
I mean, so real quick, I mean, he's being
Yeah.
drafted. He's being drafted after Raheem Mostert and after Zamir White and before Tony Pollard. Is he being drafted too late or too early, or is he good right there? Would you take him or Raheem Mostert?
That's a
taking
tough one.
Swift.
I would take Swift.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough one. It's just depending on.
Swift or Zamir White?
Loki,
Yeah.
where Zamir is at, I'm not taking Zamir.
I'll take DeAndre Swift over Zamir White.
Yeah. The reason
what
I'm
he
taking
did-
Swift because Swift is a proven back. You know what I mean?
Zamir White or Najee Harris? Najee Harris
White.
being Yeah, these are by the way. I'm going off of not necessarily ADP, but rankings. I think Fantasy Pros rankings.
I
So
might do Najee just because Jalen got hurt recently. So
Jalen
Jalen Warren
Warren.
did have a hamstring injury as of late. Yeah, there is recently a hamstring injury. I think it was hamstring.
I have no clue.
Correct
it
me
was
if I'm
hamstring.
wrong.
Yeah.
It was okay. Okay, let's move on from DeAndre Swift. I mentioned a couple other things. They brought in Gerald Everett to block. I think we discussed that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be straight blocking, bro. Screen
Yeah.
plays, go get him.
Low key. I mean, unless Cole Kmet gets hurt, but
Yeah, then
Yeah.
he's a good pickup, you know. They got rid of Darnell Mooney. That's expected.
Yeah.
No more Deontay Foreman in the backfield. It's just Khalil Herbert. And then I forgot the other, Roshan Johnson. But, I mean, unless something happens to DeAndre Swift, none of those guys are really relevant,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Let's move on to the Detroit Lions, MFB. You want to start us off with the Lions?
yeah. So Lions. I mean, as far as draft this year, they went back-to-back cornerbacks, trying to buff their secondary. And other than that, no coaching, no OC changes. We're virtually seeing the same offense. And I think probably the most important thing to note with Lions right now is on the depth chart we see Jameson Williams as the second wide receiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dan Campbell has been kind of talking him up a lot this preseason in
Right.
camp, right? And why I say that, right, or why I even bring this up, is Dan Campbell's a straight shooter, if you've noticed, right? Like, there's a lot of coaches who just cap and be like, yeah, this player's gonna go off and he's ridiculous. Obviously, they're gonna say that
Yeah.
about their players, right? But Dan Campbell, like, he's a straight shooter, bro. Like,
Right.
if you want to take away, like, fantasy takeaway from me this year, like, if Dan Campbell said something, like, take it for real, you know?
Yeah,
So,
take it face value, right?
I mean, with that being said, though, he's still like the fourth on the pecking order of targets in Detroit, right? With the
Yeah, I
order
mean-
being Amon-Ra, Laporta / Gibbs,
Right.
and then it's Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's more so like a deeper round sleeper pick.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that the Lions. I mean, they didn't make a lot of changes, like you mentioned. I mean, they were doing great last year. I mean, with Laporta coming in. I mean, and Gibbs was starting to pick it up end of the season. I don't have all the stats in front of me right now, but if you remember from last season, he did start to pick it up. This is going to be his second year. I think he had one injury last year, like a slight injury or something. I think he was out a game or two.
Gibbs?
I can't recall exactly, to be honest. But yeah, that offense is firing on all cylinders. And one thing that I want to say from last year, I don't know if you guys remember, but Dan Campbell will freaking go on fourth. He will always go on fourth. He never kicks. Like, it's
100%.
situations. I remember, I think it screwed BBTB a couple times. I think he had the kicker for the Lions, and he was like,
Funny
bro,
enough,
go for the field goal, and he just Dan Campbell
that's pretty much
will
true.
always play on. So for fantasy purposes,
Do
I mean, for the
not take
offense,
the Lions kicker, bro.
that's one word of advice from the Lions: don't touch the kicker, because Dan Campbell will, like, 90% of the time go for on fourth. I mean, we could probably look up the stat from like last season, but he was always fourth down. He's like, nope, fourth and 7. Let's just go for it. And you're like, bro, come on.
Yeah,
now.
because I made the mistake taking that kicker because I actually went to the game, Chargers and Lions, and like, what's his name? I think his name is Badgley, right? The kicker or something. I totally forgot. But,
That might have been the Chargers kicker, but I can't
yeah.
recall.
But I totally forgot his name. But basically
Yeah.
has a chance. It's like 4th and 3, 4th and 4. Should kick the field goal in my face.
They're
I
in
need
field
those
goal range.
points, and the guy
Yeah.
just goes for 4th down.
They're in
Pisses
field
me
goal
off.
range, yeah. So that offense is going to be great. It's going to be very active. I mean, obviously, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Sammy mentioned, he's going to be, could be potentially, a good fantasy pickup. Obviously, Laporta, obviously Gibbs. I want to bring up Montgomery. What do you guys think? Monty, is he going to get fizzled out of the offense, or is he just going to be doing goal line touches? Is he going to have the same workload as last season? What do we think?
A wise man once said, bro, the definition of insanity is to do the same experiment over and over and expect different results. Montgomery's still there. He's still going to eat.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's currently being drafted. He's being drafted before James Conner and before Ramondre and before Aaron. Well, not drafted. Sorry, he's ranked higher than Aaron Jones, Ramondre, and James Conner. Do you guys take Montgomery over those three guys? James Conner, Ramondre, and Aaron Jones.
No.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't think I take Montgomery over. I don't take him over James Conner.
Yeah,
Maybe Ramondre, because I don't know if I trust that offense.
Connor's the tough one for me, but I'd probably take Monty over Connor.
You would take Monty over Connor?
Yeah.
James Conner? And can you give the reasoning for that? Because I don't
think
know.
as long as he gets the ball in the red zone, like, I'll be fine with that.
I mean, just because of the Lions' offense and the way that it moves, and the fact that Dan Campbell will just keep pushing the ball, I can see where you're coming from.
Well, we're not in this division yet, but to speak on the Cardinals defense is so bad. Like, they're going to be behind every game.
Right. So, but, I mean, James Conner also catches passes. And anyways, we don't have to get into it.
There's value with that, right?
We don't have to get into it. But, I mean, interesting. I do think that because that offense moves so much, the Lions, that I'm not mad at that pick. I can understand that.
Yeah. And I think Gibbs dealing with that really bad injury again. I think you said it earlier, but it's actually like worse than it actually seems.
Okay, so it's flaring up again in training camp or in the preseason?
Because they're not giving out reports. All they're saying is that he should be ready by the opener. And that's pretty much it.
Does anyone have the report on Jahmyr Gibbs in front of them? Jahmyr Gibbs. If you have it, let me know. We can.
It's a hammy.
Hamstring? Okay. Hamstring can linger. So, I mean, that's something to note. So, Montgomery could go up. I mean, honestly, with that news, with that information, do what you want with it. If Jahmyr Gibbs is dealing with the hamstring issue, then Montgomery will definitely eat a lot, too. Because I said that offense moves. So, something to think about. Keep an eye out for those of you watching, listening. Keep an eye out on Jahmyr Gibbs' status and what people are saying about his hamstring, and if it lingers. If it starts to linger, think about taking Montgomery, maybe even a little earlier than his ADP.
I was just going to say, from Pro Football Network, they were saying Gibbs, he suffered that same injury back on June 5th. It was a soft tissue injury in his hamstring.
Okay, so it is lingering.
Up again. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. So, hey, something to know. Whoever's watching, whoever's listening, just keep that in mind. Montgomery might end up having a lot more work than we thought. So, something to think about. Let's move on to the Packers, BBTB. Why don't you talk about the Packers for us?
Yes, sir. So, Packers is going to be bold take number 3. If you haven't seen the other two, watch the other videos. But bold take number 3, Green Bay Packers coming out on top in the NFC North. I have them coming out on top. The reason why.
Above the Lions.
Above the Lions.
All right, speak.
I just see it, yeah. Max contract, Jordan Love, 4-year, $220 million. They paid the guy. Guy's phenomenal. Finished the regular season like a beast. Won wild card game. Just a stud. That offense just got better. Upgraded their running back. Got rid of Aaron Jones. Put in Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs had a horrible. I think they got a new head coach. O-line was horrible. And that offense was just. Devontae Adams was getting pissed on that offense. Same thing with Jacobs. You know what I mean? So I feel like Jacobs will sign there. And then all their wide receivers. They're pretty much second and third year wide receivers, They're just getting better. You got, I think, Jaden Reed. Who else? Romeo Dubes.
Yeah.
Christian Watson.
Deontay Wicks.
Yeah. And then they got, I think, a really solid tight end, Musgrave. Musgrave should pick it up.
Luke Musgrave, I mean, I was going to talk about that, sorry to interrupt, but I mean, I really think that he, for where he's going in the draft, is a pretty good value. You have Jordan Love throwing to him, and he's healthy, so that's a name to look out for. Luke Musgrave, if you're looking for a tight end late and you didn't get one early on the draft, think about him.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, and they have a really solid schedule to really shine. Um,
Right.
so I don't know. I really do think Packers will be that team in the NFC North. That defense is great. I think they upgraded their O line with their first round pick. They got to do it out of Arizona, and then they just got a bunch of defensive players, and they got an O tackle out of Duke. So they upgraded heavy with. I think they drafted like 9 dudes, 8 dudes, 9 dudes, something like that. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I'm really high on the Packers in the NFC North.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we saw last year. Jordan Love came out and he finished, if I'm looking at this correctly, as the quarterback 5 in
Hmm.
Yep.
fantasy.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. So I mean, he's being drafted. I think he's being drafted after, if I'm not mistaken, after Stroud, or am I mistaken?
No, before Stroud.
He's
No, not before Stroud.
yeah, he's being taken. He's ranked below Joe Burrow. Do you guys take Joe Burrow or do you take Jordan Love?
I'm taking Love, man. Love
Burrow's
got some
healthy,
feet. Love
huh?
got some feet. He's healthy. Upgraded O line, receivers. I'm
Right.
taking Love, and I'm very high on Love. And they
Okay.
paid him for a reason too. Highest paid.
I mean, they. I think this last year was kind of like a try, not a tryout, but they wanted to see what can you do. If you can do it, we'll pay you. If you can't, we're gonna go draft somebody, right?
Yeah,
And he showed them that he could do it, and he got paid for it, so it was really good.
yeah.
Um, let's see. You think how much of an upgrade is Aaron Jones to Josh Jacobs?
Huge, huge. Josh Jacobs was pretty much um, healthy all of last season. Aaron Jones had that one crazy game 1 with 4 touchdowns, and
Right.
then just injuries and just didn't live up to the hype. So
Right.
I think it's a huge upgrade. Josh Jacobs, great, great running back, gets like 20 plus carries a game. Great passing back. I think it's a huge, like a really big offensive threat, which could
Right.
open up the passing game too. So
Yeah. Definitely.
yeah.
No, I see that. MFB, any thoughts on?
I feel like so on my spreadsheets on paper, if you asked me like last week or a week and a half ago, I had Jacobs as like a hard fade, right?
Hmm.
Up until like that
Interesting.
rookie injured their hammy, right? So obviously like it kind of depends now.
They
AJ
drafted.
Dillon is still there.
Right.
The funny thing is, with that being said, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
If there was a fade that would come back and burn me, it'll be
It'll
Josh
be Josh
Jacobs. I
Jacobs.
think, yeah,
Yeah.
I,
it'll be
I,
Josh Jacobs. Yeah,
I'm
this year.
not. I didn't think honestly that's a bold statement. Fading Josh Jacobs. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
see
crazy.
any reason to fade him. I think in that offense, I mean AJ Dillon's complete garbage. If I recall from last season, he didn't do. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, I had
I
him as a handcuff.
last season I had him as like a stash, right? So
Yeah,
if
yeah,
anything happened to Aaron Jones, you're gonna get huge volume, and he's gonna get
exactly.
you touchdown. And he got a ton of touches and did nothing with them. I don't even want to know how many yards per carry he had. It had to be just awful. So
Yeah,
I think that with Josh Jacobs there, you're gonna get a lot of volume and a lot of just I think he's definitely better than 100% better than AJ Dillon. I for sure
For
believe he's
for
better
sure,
than
better than
Aaron
AJ
Jones.
Dillon. Yeah, no, nobody's arguing that.
Right, but better than Aaron Jones as well. And now that you know Jordan
We're
Love
saying better than
is,
Aaron Jones today, right?
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Of
Okay.
course, hundred
Okay.
percent,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
but
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
Jordan Love is going to be airing it out, and so when you're throwing it a bunch, you're going to get chances to run the ball and get a lot of yards. And Josh Jacobs is a runner, man. He can really break tackles and get out and get loose. So
Yeah,
I like Josh Jacobs. I think he's a good running back.
yeah.
Um, they do have a lot of second, third year wide receivers. What are you guys' thoughts on Christian Watson?
I feel like he's gonna
I,
play the same role as last year. I feel like he's
I,
just gonna just.
I think he's a huge kind of boomer bust, and with the injuries, his hamstring I think is what's been bothering him ever
Mhm.
since it was 2 years ago. His hamstring gave him issues. Last year we saw
Mhm.
it. I believe it was a hamstring again, and I think it's kind of hit or miss, and I don't want to miss on him. So I mean, I think where he's being drafted is fine, but he might be a player I just don't even. Why take the?
I think
what?
speaking to low-key every receiver on Green Bay right now, I'm probably fading every one slightly.
Really?
Yeah,
Mainly because going back to Chicago, right?
yeah,
So Chicago, somewhat of the opposite prediction I have, right? Whereas one receiver's gonna go dumb every week.
yeah.
Green Bay is like everyone will do cool every week. You know,
I
there's
can
not
see
gonna be
that.
one guy getting double-digit targets week
I
in and
don't.
week out.
I,
That's like my prediction, right? And because
yeah,
when they asked Matt LaFleur, like, hey, who's the wide receiver one? He's like, I don't do wide receiver ones. I don't have wide receiver ones. That was
Yeah.
his response.
ever since
You
Devontae
know?
Adams left, there's no wide receiver one.
Oh yeah, but
But
so
the
like,
things I'd rather take like one of those like low double
S-
digit kind of players, put him in the flex,
maybe
and
in a bench spot like later in the draft, sure. But to me, I think you fill up your entire roster first, and then you can. I mean, you can take a shot on any of those guys, right? But I kind of agree with Sammy B. I don't. I mean, you can get lucky with one of them, but one week you'll get one and you'll play him, and he'll get you like 4 fantasy points, right? And then the next week he'll get you 16 on your bench, and you go, oh sweet, I'm gonna plug him in. You plug him in, and then 4 or like
yeah.
6 or like 5, whatever. And so I don't like players with huge inconsistencies like that, that don't hold a lot of value. So I mean, I think if Christian Watson stays healthy, or if he is healthy, I think he's someone that you can trust more. I really think that he is he was supposed to be the wide receiver one, so I think he takes on that role if he's healthy. If not, I think it could be any of those guys that can go and do it for you. But I do agree with Sammy. They're going to be throwing the ball around. Everyone's going to get a piece.
Yeah.
Let's move on and talk about the Vikings. So I don't. As of this episode, JJ McCarthy out for the season with surgery on his knee. So
Crazy.
there goes the hopes for that team doing anything special. Aaron Jones. Well, there goes Sammy B's prediction for a sleeper. So there goes your sleeper QB.
well,
We'll have to do another episode.
there he goes, bro.
Yeah, it was just barely getting started.
I'm already 0 for 1 on the sleepers, I guess.
Yeah.
Or are we DQ in that one?
Well, you might be 0 for 1. So is BBTB. He said Juwan Johnson. So that's
Whoa!
for tight end.
Juwan
Come on,
Johnson
man.
playing this season.
That's
though.
already
All
0
right.
for 1.
Juwan Johnson playing this
You're
season,
also
brother.
0 for 1. I'm probably 0 for 1 too already.
No,
But
Juwan Johnson, he playing.
we'll see about that. Aaron Jones was paid $7 million. So Madison got cut because Madison was complete garbage. He didn't do anything. He had like maybe 1 or 2 relevant games, and relevant is a strong word to use because it was barely serviceable. And he was being taken, I think, somewhere in the 4th round last season. Either way,
Yeah.
he's gone. Aaron Jones is there. Ty Chandler is the backup still. So that's the running back situation. TJ Hawkinson is out until about midway in the season, about October. So that's, I mean, I don't. Who's the other tight end there? I actually am not sure.
They have Tunyon.
Robert Tonyan from Green Bay.
Yeah.
No, they have another guy.
They have another guy.
Okay.
I think Josh Oliver.
So this is the thing is we're discussing this, right? But let's be honest, it's Sam Darnold, right? So at QB. So I mean, you don't really start anyone on that team besides Jay Jettis. And as of today, Jordan Addison was recently in the last, I think, preseason game was carted off with an ankle injury, and there's no timetable for a return. So the coach doesn't know a return date for Jordan
He also
Addison.
got a DUI.
And Jordan Addison did get a DUI for falling asleep at the wheel, is what I read, which
Something
is
like that,
crazy,
bro.
bro.
That's what they say, bro. But that's
driving
what
under
they
the
be saying,
influence. Sleeping at the wheel is considered driving under the influence. I don't know about that one. So he's on something. Either way, he was playing the preseason, but carted off with an ankle injury. So, I mean, ankle injuries, I don't know how easily it is to come back from those. Historically, you can kind of think of that on your own. I think in that offense, maybe Aaron Jones and just about him and Jay Jettis, Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones. I don't know if there's anything else in that offense worth touching.
Honestly, they still have a KJ Osborne. KJ
That's
Osborne.
right. Yeah. So he would step up for Jordan Addison, right?
100% every time.
Yeah.
They don't have KJ Osborne anymore. They got nobody in receiving.
They don't have KJ no more? I swear I thought they had KJ.
Hey man, this is why we have the podcast.
Is it nobody receiving?
Let's let the listeners know. Is KJ Osborne there or no? No. All right. So
on the depth chart, he's not there.
On the depth chart, he's not there. Okay, good to know. So on the depth chart, actually, I have it here. It's Brandon Powell and Trent Sherfield.
On the Patriots, brother. Yeah.
Huh?
KJ Osborne went to the Pats.
Yeah. And then the third wide receiver is Jalen Naylor. I don't know who this is. I don't know. So yeah, like MFB said, they have nobody. So who knows? One of these guys gets a connection with Sam Darnold, and they suddenly just have something like Puka and
or we see
Puka
JJ get 50% target share. Crazy.
Honestly, I would not be surprised if he gets literally like a 35% target share or even more.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest,
is that enough, bro? That's like the main question here, right? Forget everything else in Minnesota right now. Right?
Yeah.
Sorry to Aaron Jones,
yeah.
but like JJ's still going in the first round. Let's get the first question out the way. Do you trust him in the first round?
Let's talk about that. Actually,
first pick, JJ.
Where do you? No, I'm taking McCaffrey.
Not first pick. First round. First round.
First round. Yes.
I'm fading him. You're not in first round.
You're not taking Justin.
There are 12 better dudes than Justin Jefferson.
I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree with that. Fantasy. Okay, in terms of a better receiver, no. But in terms of better value, there's a couple things that I'd look into here. Would I take Justin Jefferson if he fell to me in the first round? Let's say I'm first round at 12-man. We're doing half PPR. Mm-hmm. That's how we're basing all these rankings.
Mm-hmm. Let's say he falls to you at 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say at 12, but let's say he falls to me at 10.
Nope.
I think I'm taking him, man. I'm be honest with you. And the only drawback to that is that they for sure will not be in any playoff contention. So end of the season, they're likely just going to start shutting these players down early. Like, do you think they're going to have him running crazy routes week 14, week 15, when they lost their rookie quarterback? And Jordan Addison, who knows what's going to happen to him? TJ Hawkins coming off of an ACL. Like, I mean, come on. It's a shutdown season. I think he can perform for you if you're, I think he'll perform. He's going to, like MFB said, this guy's going to get probably easily more than 30% target share. And he's going to eat, right? It's just the way he is. He's a beast, right? But when it comes down to it and you're trying to win playoffs, I don't think he's going to be there for you. And so if you can sell him off to somebody who needs him and he can, you say, hey, look, talking about Justin Jefferson here, he's getting whatever target share. He's getting however many points a game. You say, hey, look, bro, come on. This is, flashy. Sell him while he's hot. I'm willing to do that. But in terms of, like, keeping him for the season and him performing for me to be able to win the championship, I don't think he's there.
So it sounds like, from BBTB's reaction, he wouldn't even take him first round. He wouldn't even look at him.
That's crazy. Now he's rethinking that after what I said.
No, listen. So I personally have the Minnesota Vikings finishing last in the NFC North. And so
of course. That was obvious.
What I'm saying is but what I'm thinking is too, like in the first round, like those late rounds, you got AJ Brown, you got the Garrett Wilson, you got the Puka Nacua, you got the Saquon Barkley. I'm taking any of those guys towards the late round.
You take Puka Nacua over Justin Jefferson?
100%.
Remember, one of my
this sounds like one of his crazy takes, but I'm kind of on board with him, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me pose it a different way.
Exactly.
Right? Let's look back to last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do a comparison of players, and then we'll find like the difference and see, and like try to calculate it from there, right?
Sure.
We have Sam Darnold, Jay Jettis, right? Those two.
Yeah.
Last year, right? After unforeseen circumstances, we had Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Zach Wilson is a terrible NFL QB, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, horrible.
And we saw from that situation, right? We saw like the ceiling Garrett Wilson could be at, right, during
Right.
that season, which was very low. So the question here, right? How much better is Sam Darnold to Zach Wilson, right?
Uh,
That's the main question, right? We know like Jay Jettis is better than Garrett Wilson, right? I think
Yeah,
maybe
I
there's
think
like
so.
a minority that would
You-
try to argue Garrett Wilson's better. Garrett Wilson's a
Sure.
phenomenal player.
He is, yeah.
But Jay Jettis is better, right?
Right.
By maybe one tier maximum. Also.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So how much better is Sam Darnold than Zach Wilson? And take that difference. And that difference is the ADP Jay Jettis should be drafted. Are you guys kind of following my
Yeah.
math?
I understand what you're saying, and this is a lot for
picking up
people that are
what you're
listening to
putting
this
down.
episode. So I'm going to give you a couple of names, and I want you to tell me
Mm-hmm.
Drake London or Jay Jettis. Who are you taking?
Brother,
Jay
You,
Jettis.
you took. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
so
it's
that's second
Jay Jettis.
round.
Okay,
Okay,
if you're going
I'm
second
giving
round.
you. I'm giving you receivers
Sure.
though. So let's
Sure,
say
sure,
okay.
sure.
Okay, let's make it
No, 'cause
interesting.
now he's
then.
going to move up to.
Let's make it interesting then.
Yeah.
Okay, let's ask Devontae Adams. Who do you
Devontae.
take?
Devontae.
Devontae Adams over Jay Jettis. Okay.
Easy.
Mainly because they just started Minshew.
Minshew, bruh. Minshew playing like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
dog.
that's something we'll talk about in another episode. Yeah,
Yep.
the Raiders are starting Minshew, which is going to be great for the Raiders receivers. Are you taking Jay Jettis or Marvin Harrison?
Honestly, I'm gonna gamble on Marvin Harrison. I'm very high on that dude this
I
year.
probably, like, a dead ass do the same thing.
So to me, it depends on how. So me,
I feel
honestly,
it.
it's so hard for me because you're talking about just an elite player, and Sam Donald's pretty bad, but I wouldn't. I don't know. I'd have to go look at his numbers. I'd have to go look at his numbers. So you guys both take Marvin Harrison. I'll give you mine. I take Jay Jettis over Marvin Harrison. If it's staring me in the face in the draft, I can't. I don't know if I have the nuts to straight up. And I'm a Cardinals fan. I want any Cardinals player I can get my hands on. Right. So in the draft, when it comes down to it, I might actually take Marvin Harrison. But right now, trying to think logically, I'll take Jay Jettis. Let's see. You guys took Derrick Henry or Jay Jettis?
That's a different position, brother. Yeah,
I know,
that's
but it's hard because
I'll
I'm
take
not
Derrick
high on
Henry.
Henry this year either, so it's really tough.
I will
for me
take
to-
Derrick Henry.
I'm saying he's
Right.
falling to in the draft, right? We're not talking positional because there's still RBs in the way, so I can't give you just positional because there's elite players here, so I have to give another position.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think then I'd have to go Henry because the Ravens are for sure finishing top 5 in the AFC.
Okay.
So Henry's going to get that ball in the end zone, and I think Lamar, I don't think they're going to be using Lamar like that in the red zone. You know, obviously they're going to be using him what is that, like the RPOs and pulling the ball,
Sure.
But in the red zone, they signed their 6'3", 260-pound back. They're going to give it to him within the 5-7 yard line. You know?
Now,
Yep.
I'll spin it in Darnold's defense, right? This is the best team in offense Darnold has played with. Right?
Right.
Obviously, he's never played with a receiver like Jettis, right?
All right.
There's only very few people like Jettis anyway.
I mean, yeah.
So this is the best offense with Darnold, right? So
Right. Keep
could
an eye
he
out.
be way better than before if you look at his old numbers? Sure, right?
Right. Keep an
But
eye
like I
on the
said, bro,
preseason.
it's
Keep an eye-
finding that
yeah.
difference, right? And then calculating, hey, is it a
Yeah.
first round?
But the thing is, though, Darnold was the starting QB for that Niners offense when Jimmy G was hurt. When Trey Lance went down, and then Jimmy G got in, and then he got hurt a little bit. Jimmy G, I think, played 1 or 2 games for the Niners.
You mean Sam Darnold?
Or yeah, so sorry. Sam
I thought he
Darnold.
was the backup to Brock Purdy. Either way,
Yeah,
hey,
he
look.
He started 1 or 2 games, but I'm just saying he
Okay.
had
He was backing up
weapons,
Brock
though.
Purdy. Yeah, last
Yeah, he was the backup for.
Yeah.
He did start though, and he had his weapons, and he did not perform
Yeah. So, anyways,
with that kind of caliber of offense.
yeah, do what you want with the information. Watch preseason. Just see if they play. If Sam Darnold goes out there and if he throws to Jay Jettis, and if he looks good and you like the connection, you think it's going to be something, then make your own decisions. But you know where we stand right now, and these things can change, and we'll talk about. We'll bring it up in further episodes
Yeah,
if it's
because
relevant.
I'm sure they're working in the back to try to get another QB, bro. I promise you.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
How do you guys? What do you guys do with last thing on the Vikings. What do you guys do with T.J. Hawkinson? Do you draft him, or do you draft him late? He's going right now. Currently, he's being ranked in, I want to say, not too far down the list. I think he's being ranked above Brock Bowers from the Vegas Raiders.
What round is that, by the way?
I have to go check. I'm trying to find.
Is he like
his name in here.
900s?
I thought he was, but I'd have to go back and find him. But either way, I mean, do you guys touch?
I'm not taking him within the first 8 rounds. No
Okay.
way.
I don't think he's going first 8 rounds.
No.
Man,
I see
mean,
it now. He's being ranked pretty far. He's in the 11th round right now.
Okay, that's a reasonable pick at 11.
Okay, you take him there.
Yeah.
Okay, stash him. Just take him, stash him, and then just
him in IR.
Honestly, the value that you're getting that late in the draft, I don't think there's much more value in that. If he comes back and even gets you 10 points a game, because we've seen what he can do, and so I think there's value there. So
at that value, yeah, it's good.
look for T.J. Hawkinson.
T.J. Hockey, I love him as a player. Had him in every league last year.
Yeah,
right. He's a menace. Now the injury was terrible, bro. ACL, MCL. Yeah. So
and this is a player. Those of you listening, this is a player that you're in the later rounds. You're in the 9th round. You're in the 10th round. You don't know which someone took the Niners defense. Someone took the Bills defense. Someone took Justin Tucker. You don't know who. There's no kicker or defense that's like stand out, and you don't know who to take. There's T.J. Hawkinson's huge value that you just stash him. And you could hype him. You could say, oh, he's coming back. He's coming back. Let's trade him. Use him as a trade piece. Whatever it takes. It's a good value at the end of the draft that you can pick up. That if you're not sure who to take in those later rounds, look for him. He's in there somewhere. Real quick before we finish off this episode, who finishes? How does each team finish in the division? MFB, why don't you give me your rankings?
I will go Detroit first, Green Bay second, Chicago third, Vikings last.
Okay. BBTV?
Very similar to MFB, but I have Green Bay first, Detroit second, Chicago third, Vikings last.
I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to say Detroit takes the division. I'm going to say the Bears go crazy with they end the curse, and then Packers, and then Vikings. But
these divisional games are going to be nuts, bro.
Oh yeah, those are you're going to get huge value in your offensive players in these games. There's going to be a lot of they're going to be some shootouts. Except for the Vikings games, just go ahead and bench your stars if they're playing against the Vikings. They're not going to get any points.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, anything else from you guys for any of these teams? Any other news? Anything?
Chilling.
Cool. All right, that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on NFC East.
Yes,
so tune in next time, and we'll see you guys.
Peace.